Well, despite it being nice and sunny out here in Tampa, it is currently about 39 degrees in Ruskin. So yeah, that's a little bit too cold for me to go fishing. Not to mention the fact that we have some wicked low tides right now. So I'm going to take this opportunity to talk to you guys about one of my biggest supporters. I've had a lot of supporters over the years, be it friends or people on Facebook and YouTube making comments and rooting me on. But this particular supporter was a company. And they were so far away I was going to need a passport to get there. This was surely going to be pretty exciting. 100 miles an hour. Don't go any faster. Here I am with a friend of mine who picked me up from the airport. I thought it was pretty crazy to see triple digits on the speedometer. Crazy, man. Crazy. Risking your life. As you may have guessed by now, I was in a different country. Canada. Home of the largest kayak manufacturer in the world, Pelican. And while I was there, they gave me a tour of the factory. As a guy who likes to build stuff, I was kind of feeling like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, because everywhere I looked there was cool stuff. From stacks of finished kayaks to the raw materials that it takes to make them, like these sheets of plastic here, which they make themselves. They extrude the plastic into these multi-layer sheets and stack them up so that they can then be melted into kayak shapes. Here's an area of the factory floor where they keep all their sheets of plastics. Different colors for different color boats and different sizes. It was really neat. One of the most astonishing things I got to see when I was walking the factory floor was how they turned those sheets of plastic into kayaks. The machines were massive. It was mind-boggling. I do wish I could have shown you those machines. There you can see a weld of two pieces of plastic coming together. Properly welded, this becomes one of the strongest parts of the boat. What was once considered a weakness in twin-sheet thermoformed boats has been perfected by Pelican into a strength. A rotomolded boat, they need to add more plastic so that their minimum thickness in the rotomolded boat is of a certain dimension. When you're starting with a sheet of plastic that is already the desired thickness, you don't have to use as much plastic. So it's lighter, stiffer, and it hasn't been melted to a point where it loses its rigidity. This is actually a better plastic because it hasn't been melted. Another benefit to their plastic is that it is made in sheets, just like you would make plywood out of. As opposed to a single piece of wood, the multiple layers make it that much stronger. Amazing stuff that I learned while I was in Canada. I know it sounds like a gimmick. It did to me when I first heard about it, but seeing the machines that made these kayaks was astonishing. I wish I could show you more of it, but you know, they have trade secrets and asked that I wouldn't film that stuff. Not only were their machines precise and impressive, but they were also pumping these kayaks out very fast. At, I think, at around 4 minutes each, from flat sheets of plastic to these kayaks. That keeps them affordable and allows more people to actually enjoy paddling. These things here are sleds that they made in preparation for the winter months. For people that do, I don't know, ice fishing or something? I was more concerned about this stuff here. Stacks and stacks of kayaks. Kind of reminded me of the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they were going through that warehouse and there were all those boxes of treasures. This here was one of the treasures that I saw inside the factory. One of the original paddle boats made by Pelican. That boat's almost as old as I am. And I'm pretty old. The next day, we showed up at Pelican early in the morning. It was a little grayer out, a little colder, and we unwrapped 3 boats. I got a Catch 100, and my 2 friends here got Catch 120s. We were going to do a little bass fishing right outside this impressive property. This is the front gate to Celine Dion's island. You can see it here on Google Earth. Pretty cool, man. It was really beautiful too. All the leaves were falling, and this is something I don't usually get to see in my hometown of Tampa, Florida. So I was dealing with a different climate. I was freshwater fishing, not saltwater, but these two guys, the guy in the blue is Mathieu. That's Matthew to you American folks. He's the designer and photographer for Pelican. And the guy in the orange suit is my friend Andre, who also works for Pelican. And on top of the kayak, they also provided me with boots and pants and a jacket and a PFD and tackle and rods and reels. And, they sure know how to show a guy a good time. There you can see me slipping my Catch 100 into the water to go out for a little quick photo shoot, and of course a little bit of fishing. As far as jobs go, this is pretty cool. While we were out and about just playing, Mathieu was working, taking photographs of yours truly for catalogs and stuff for Pelican. You must be one heck of a photographer to make me look halfway decent like that. Thank you, Mathieu. Well, it was a slow day on the water, but I did get a couple of fish to almost take my lure. I saw them come up and turn away at the last second. It really freaked me out because it was a nice sized bass. That would have been nice to get on camera, but it was nice just to be out on the water as always. I had a lot of fun on my Catch 120, and I got to use a Manly rod, which was made specifically for Pelican. I was having a lot of trouble though with the monofilament that they had spooled onto the reel. Might have been a little easier if I had some braided line with me, but beggars can't be choosers. I like the extending butt on this rod too. Might have to get myself one of these someday. But as always, the hours felt like minutes, and before I knew it, it was time to head back. Andre took me back to the office where I met with some of the kayak designers, and then my obligations were done, but first he gave me a tour of downtown Montreal. Now, as a kid who grew up in New York City, it wasn't that impressive as far as its size, but it was a beautiful city with cobblestone streets and lots of history. And it seems even my employer has an office here. See it, Google? Montreal is the largest city in Canada's Quebec province. It's set on an island in the St. Lawrence River, and it's named after Mount Royal, a triple-peaked mountain at its heart. Founded May 17th, 1642. I was told that Montreal was one of the oldest cities in North America. So there was plenty of history, a lot of old buildings, and some pretty tall doors. Everything was in French. It was certainly an interesting experience. And at the end of the night, we shared a couple beers at this wonderful restaurant. And just as I was feeling very welcome here in Canada, unfortunately, it was time to say goodbye. Well, being away from home can sometimes be a little bit difficult when you're on a business trip, but seeing as how much I really love kayak fishing, going to work with Pelican is always a pleasure. And it really helps that I believe in the company, because I would suggest to my best friend that he gets a Pelican, which makes it an easy sell for me. And believe me when I tell you that I do believe in that company, and I appreciate their support more than words. And that goes for the people who have joined my Patreon account to try to get this business up and running. As you can see, I've acquired myself an office trailer. These things cost so much money. Just to get a business up and running it makes me want to run for the hills and give up. But support from people like Pelican inspires me and makes me want to keep going forward. And the fact that people that don't know me and don't have to contribute have helped me out already. It's beyond words. I don't know what to say. Maybe when this place is up and running and people are here and having a good time, that'll be the way that I get to say thank you. So anyways, hopefully it warms up a little bit and I can get back to some fishing real soon. Thank you guys for watching another one of my videos.